Hi there. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Pixie Art Show. I'm Pixie, and well, I've always loved to draw and paint and really anything creative. So I figured, hey, why not, turn my hobby into a YouTube channel for something to do. So this first video is just really going to be me talking about what I use for my own digital art, and I guess what I kind of hope this channel, or to do with this channel, what I hope to do, because I do have a few videos in mind already, a few different like series almost sort of. So I guess I can just start off and talk about the programs that I'm using. The first one that I'm using, or the first one you can see here, is actually called DesignDoll. That's the thing that I'm tracing over in the drawing. It's a free to download and use software. There is a paid version that gives you a few other features. I can't quite remember them offhand right now, but it's like having an artist's doll on your computer that you can actually use to help out with your anatomy, your poses, stuff like that. I know I have minor issues on occasion coming up with my own poses. Sometimes it's very difficult, and having a reference it's phenomenal. It's really good to help, and you can do a lot with DesignDoll. You can come up with different poses. You can give different anatomy. Like, you can make the character any shape or size that you want, really, and it is really fun to play with. I laughed for a good hour playing around with it the first time I opened it. As for my drawing software, I actually use Krita, which is similar to Photoshop. It's also free to download. It was created by artists for other artists. It's incredibly user-friendly. It's incredibly fairly simple to use. I'm still figuring out a lot of the tools and trying to figure out what certain things do and what brushes I enjoy using and stuff. But I highly recommend using that as well if you are into doing digital art and you want to get started. I will leave links to both of those in the description below if you are interested in checking them out. As for my drawing hardware, I tend to use a small Wacom bamboo tablet. It's the second tablet I've actually ever owned. It's a fairly cheap tool to purchase and use. It's super easy, and I mean, I would one day love to be able to get a Cintiq or something like that, but those can be pretty pricey. So for just a small tablet to use to draw on your computer, it's a good one to start off with for sure. And as for my computer, the poor thing, it's about a 5 or 6 year old's Windows laptop, I believe. It's one of the ones that still has like the the CD tray in it. It's been Frankensteined back together. I've gotten like the blue screen of death like 2 or 3 times, I think, by now. It's still chugging along. Not entirely certain how, but it does the job that I need it to do when I need it to do it. So I actually haven't been doing much digital art lately. I try to do it as often as possible, but I've been mostly doing traditional art in like my sketchbooks, doing pen and ink drawings. So I get my digital art could use a little bit of work. I mean, I do definitely need a lot more practice, but that's actually partially why I wanted to start up this channel. I wanted to sort of get myself into a routine, a schedule of doing more digital art so that I can improve on my digital work. And also this particular drawing here, this is actually, it's kind of old now. I think I drew it about November, December of 2020, so last year. And my style has changed quite a bit since then. I draw the eyes differently. I think, the hair a little bit differently. Certain features here and there are a bit different. But I mean, that's the thing. Drawing styles can and do evolve over time. I mean, artists are forever trying new things, and that's a big part of it, is get yourself out of your comfort zone, get yourself trying different styles, trying new things, figuring out what works best for you and what doesn't work for you. And that's half the fun of drawing and painting and doing anything that's creative like that. Yeah, you gotta have fun with it, right? I did notice here, though, in the inking process, that I actually forgot to add eyelashes onto that other eye. I'm recording my audio after the video was already done, so of course by then, by the time I realized it, it was already too late to go back and fix it. Though that's entirely alright. It's pretty easy to make mistakes like that, especially small little ones. Even if you're clearly staring at that one spot for some time, and I stared at that for a few minutes and didn't even realize that there was just I didn't even bother with the eyelashes. I guess that I just didn't need them. Now, I did want to keep this first video sort of fairly simple. I figured I'd just do kind of like a quick sort of self-portrait kind of thing. Um, Now, I know my style is very heavily influenced by anime and manga. I mean, I based it very heavily on Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon, and Pokemon. The sort of like shows that I grew up being kind of obsessed with, especially Sailor Moon. So that is the anime and manga sort of style is definitely where I am most comfortable when it comes to drawing. Um, I do kind of tend to dabble with a little bit of realism here and there, but it's not where I'm comfortable in my drawing. I definitely do plan on pushing myself out of my comfort zone a lot more with this channel. For example, I'm planning on doing a series where I draw a scene or a character from a horror movie and talk about or review that movie. Um, potential working title being How to Survive a Horror Movie. I love all things scary and horror related. Anything that's spooky it's my jam. And so I think that could actually be a lot of fun. I might also do some scary stories, some urban legends, and even my own creepy encounters, because I've had quite a few of those myself. Now, another potential series I have planned is actually something that I've done a few times before. I'm sure you know of and have probably seen the Pokemon fusions. You know, there's the website you go on, you get two random Pokemon, they kind of mash them together to create a new creature. So, I mean, there's been some amazing artwork and creations come out of that. And I actually had an idea to take a random Pokemon and then a random Digimon and fuse them together. I mean, Pokemon and Digimon are a staple of so many people's childhoods. Many people know about them. And it's super challenging, but so much fun to figure out how the design and how each character is going to fit together to create a completely new creature. I mean, you take certain design features from the Pokemon and certain design features from the Digimon, and on occasion I do have to pick a new random character because it doesn't work out the way I want it to, or it's way too difficult for me to even attempt to draw, and I just kind of sit there staring at it for an hour. I already have a few that I've actually posted on my Instagram from a little while ago when I first had the idea, but it's definitely something I want to try getting into again because it was a lot of fun when I was doing it before. I know I might also consider opening up for drawing suggestions from viewers and such, depending on what those suggestions would be, of course. I will never ever do anything lewd or not safe for work. I definitely will never draw any nudity, as that's not exactly something I'm comfortable with personally. I also don't really, want to get my channel banned before I even get started or anything like that, and I would like to keep it semi sort of family friendly. Um, Definitely going to be doing some fan art, a lot of original stuff as well. I do have a lot of original characters that I've designed throughout the years. Um, I've even had some suggestions on doing Magic the Gathering, like card redesigns or fan art, which I imagine could be a lot of fun as well and pretty challenging. And I mean, I have a deep love for Magic the Gathering, and there's a lot of really cool card designs out there, and a lot of really cool cards that would be pretty neat to draw and play around with. I know my next video is probably going to be some Sailor Moon fan art, because that is one of my major loves. I've always loved Sailor Moon, and I just recently actually finished reading the manga. And the video after that was probably going to be drawing and talking about the Black Eyed Kids. Again, get into a little bit of a creepy, spooky type video, and that's one thing that I've always had a pretty big interest in, is the Black Eyed Kids and stuff like that. I do have to say it's kind of surreal, really, to watch yourself draw. Usually during the process I kind of zone out almost, and I don't really pay attention to the actual drawing as it's being done. I'm probably listening to a podcast or watching a show or something, so I'm not really paying much attention to what it is I'm actually doing on the screen or on the page. And it's so strange to watch the artwork come to life right before your eyes. It's like someone else is doing the drawing. I'm watching somebody else draw, and it's not actually me. Though it does actually make it quite a lot easier to pick up on the mistakes you've made. Not entirely certain if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Now, I do know, and it has been pointed out before to me, that my line work tends to be a bit shaky, and a bit, yeah, not as clean as it could be. I myself am actually fairly shaky, kind of like a human chihuahua, just not as scared or rage filled. And I'm sure there are tools in Krita. I know there are line tools in Krita that I could use to make my lines a lot cleaner. I haven't really played around with them, with the line tools, all that much, and I tend to enjoy the feel of using the pen tool to do the inking. It's to me it's almost more organic. I will probably play around with the tools at some point, especially since inking can actually be pretty tedious. It's one of my least favorite parts of the drawing process, though I can't leave. I much prefer inking in my drawings because I find it makes them pop so much more. But yeah, the way I do it now is fine for me. I mean, we all have different ways of doing things and different things that we prefer to do, different ways of drawing or whatever it is we enjoy doing. As for the painting or the coloring process, I honestly don't really have a preference for which brushes I use. I think it tends to change with each picture. Sometimes it's the basic brushes, sometimes it's the watercolor, other times I use stamps or the flat brushes, stuff like that. It really just depends on what I'm feeling at the time. It can also be the same with my shading techniques. I always put down a base color first, or the base colors first, but the way I shade and highlight tends to change too depending on how I feel. Sometimes it's the amount of detailed shading and lighting changes too. Sometimes I put in a lot of shading and a lot of highlights. Other times I just do the bare minimum. I would also like to talk about my audio. I know it's not great, but I'm actually using a recording app on my phone. Horrible. I know. Shame. Shame on me. Um, but I don't yet have a microphone, so I'm still trying to decide which one I want to get. And well, with COVID and my full-time crazy hectic job, it's really hard to remember to order one, and it's almost impossible to actually get to a store that sells them. I do fully plan on getting one soon, hopefully, but for now, this isn't the worst thing I could use. Just be happy I'm not using my computer's potato quality camera or mic. With time and eventually a new computer, I know my videos will get better. They will get much better. I mean, no one starts out at professional levels, unless they have like loads of experience already and crazy high quality equipment right from the get-go. I am still learning, of course, how to edit my videos and figuring out scripting without, well, sounding like I'm reading instead of talking. But I mean, that's all part of the fun and the learning process, right? You gotta screw up to get better and have fun with failing and learning new things to improve on the things that you do. I'm also not entirely certain how often I'll be able to post right now. I do want to be as consistent as possible, but it might be a bit, it might take a bit starting off. Like I said, I do have an extremely busy full-time job, but I am passionate about doing this, so there will be uploads as often as I can. Having this first video done and up will help, I'm sure. Another thing, of course, thumbnails. I'm not entirely certain what the thumbnail of this first video is going to look like. It's probably not going to be great, but that will also come with time, I'm sure. Speaking of scripting, it's really difficult coming up with things to talk about for like 25 minutes. I'm hoping that other videos will be a little bit easier to do scripts or even just talking points for, though I'm not actually really used to rambling on for this long if I'm not talking about anything in particular. This is super out of my comfort zone, and it's kind of exciting, kind of awkward, mildly terrifying. Keeping myself at a reasonable talking pace helps a bit, though it's pretty hard. I tend to talk faster as I get excited, or as I keep talking. My pace can speed up quite a bit, and then I have to repeat stuff for full conversations. Or I trip over my own words and I start to stutter, and then I forget what I'm actually talking about completely, which can be fun, I guess. So I guess really, when it's all said and done, this channel is going to be sort of like a visual podcast type thing. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts now, and I mean, I've been pretty inspired to sort of, I guess, start up my own sort of podcast or YouTube channel. And I mean, I've been talking about starting a YouTube channel for quite some time now, for at least a couple of years. And I mean, kept putting it off and putting it off, and I mean, what better time than to just sit down and do it? I mean, if it's something you enjoy and you really want to do, just go for it. Don't be afraid to fail, or don't be afraid to put in the work. And I mean, it is a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. But I mean, having fun and keeping at it, it's really, that's what it's all about. Just putting some time aside for your hobbies and your interests. And I mean, that can really, that can be really rewarding. It's also incredibly rewarding to know you've created something and to actually see yourself improve in your hobbies. And now I'm starting to sound like a super cheesy Hallmark movie. All we need now is a knockoff Celine Dion singing in the background. I say knockoff because, of course, I can't afford the real Celine Dion. She's a bit out of my price range. I mean, a new laptop is currently out of my price range. So, on the topic of timing this video, actually, I've managed to cut it down a fair bit. It's at around, I think, 25 minutes now, but the entire original recording was actually about, what? Oh gosh, I think 3 hours long? At least? I mean, of course, I've also sped up everything that I left in. I don't actually draw that fast. It took 3 hours to draw, so not going that quickly. But I really didn't realize how long I can actually take to draw sometimes. Then again, I mean, I do usually draw while watching TV or movies, and I get distracted pretty easily. But I mean, you know, that's okay. That's why we edit, right? I obviously wouldn't subject you to a 3-hour-long video with like 15 to 20-minute pauses of absolutely nothing every few minutes. That would not be fun. That would be super boring, and that would be a channel that does not survive. I have to say, though, it is pretty cool to actually watch and see my own work take form like this. I do so rarely actually watch myself draw. I mean, very few people, I imagine, do actually just sit down and record themselves, other than other YouTube artists. And really, I've only recorded about a couple times now. I do have my second video currently in the process of being edited, but I mean, I absolutely love to watch other people draw and paint. It's really, really neat to be able to actually see other artists' processes and their techniques, and the amount of talent and skill out there is insanely amazing. And to have so many tutorials and videos on YouTube and online that can help you to gather tricks and tips that you can incorporate or help you to improve your own work is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the internet, it's a magical place. So we're getting pretty close to the end of the video now, of this first video. And so I guess I'll start wrapping it up a bit. If you're still watching, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you for watching till the end. I do hope that you keep coming back and checking for more content. I do plan on doing so many more videos. That is definitely my hope. If you want to see more, please do subscribe and of course hit the bell for notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I do have social medias that you can follow. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Pixie Art. That's PIC*Z Art. Same thing as the YouTube channel. I'm not currently super active on Twitter, but once this video goes up and I get into a routine, I'll definitely start posting more. Tweeting kind of, it's still pretty foreign to me. It's not something I've done much before. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me there at that crazy short girl. I made my Instagram ages ago, like 3 or 4 years ago now, and I post all sorts of stuff on there. I post my artwork, whether that's digital or traditional. I post all of my Inktober stuff because I try to do Inktober every year. And I post a lot of like selfies and stuff as well, like non-art related stuff. So it's a fun time. You can find all kinds of different stuff on my Instagram. I don't currently have a Facebook page for my channel. I do have my own personal Facebook, but I'm not gonna give that out here. Sorry about that. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a Facebook page or not, or a Facebook group. I will let you know. I'll keep you posted on that, on if that changes at all. We'll play it by ear. It's something that we can decide, or I can decide later. So yeah, thank you so much again for tuning into this first ever episode of the Pixie Art Show. I will probably never call it that again. We'll see how it goes. It will take a day by day basis. I do promise the next video will hopefully be at least slightly more interesting than this one. It's gonna be Sailor Moon themed. That's the plan. I do have a video recorded of myself drawing Usagi. Now that might change. It really all depends on my mood. I might do something spooky related instead. I have been listening to a lot of one in particular paranormal podcast, which more so than my true crime podcasts. So really, it all depends on my mood. We'll see how it goes. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves out there, staying safe in this crazy and stressful time. Just, take care of yourselves. Try to keep positive. I know it's hard sometimes. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just take long showers, take long hot baths. A nice bubble bath never goes astray. Go for walks, get some fresh air if you can. Have a nice cup of tea or a strong cup of coffee, or, another strong type of drink that may or may not be alcoholic. It's whatever. I'm not your mom. You can do whatever you want. But no, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. All right. Take care. Bye.